So it's 7:15. I just got back from the showers, and I came to wake Gracie up, and we got a little company. Look at Bhakti. She came to wake little Gracie up.
She's the best human being in the world.
And she's just chilling. Look at her. She's
So is
giving
Bhakti.
kisses and love.
Through her cone.
And just chill with us. Look at her. Look at her. What a good girl. Oh yeah. Alright. Now, here we are. And we're about to do yoga.
Shout out to Julia for being freaking amazing and bringing me a dog. I can't.
And then we're going to do it for about 45 minutes. So, let's go.
We've really been slacking on our vlogging duties. This is a cool hammock now. I'm going to show this little staircase too. So it's the 20th morning.
Yep.
And we just got out of yoga, morning yoga. It's pretty good, relaxing. Having some pineapple, papaya, and banana. Yep.
Alright, we just finished with meditation and yoga, and we're eating some breakfast. Delicious fresh fruit. We are about to head over to San Marcos and work with some kids at Cono Hill and have lunch there ourselves as well. So I think it'll be really fun because all these guys had a lot of fun playing soccer yesterday with the kids in Santa Cruz. So I feel like they are going to really enjoy it. See you later.
Okay, wait, this puppy is sad. Aww. Is that your puppy? You've had him, what, 2 days in a row? You found him? Him around a lot? He was very sad. Look, he's hungry. Oh my gosh, you should probably put him down. No. They're all watching you take the dog away. So what? What are they going to finish? Yeah. Alright, we are about to eat lunch. My dog and Zoe. We went to tables. We got the floor seats. Yay.
It's a cool kid table.
The cool kid table.
Oh yeah, it's a cool kids game.
So we're just waiting for a really pretty sign here.
What are we eating?
It's broccoli in an egg wrap, and then rice and black beans, and then like chopped vegetables and a vinaigrette. It's really, really good. When perfect. So cool. It really looks like someone painted that. I love bamboo so much.
Dad or older brother, but we try to make an example of who's the boss here. Hey Andrew, can I be excused early? I don't know, ask the boss. Hey Andrew, do I need to eat all this? I don't know, ask the boss. Who's the boss? Maria's the boss.
The boss is Maria.
So,
Maria.
we could, all of these stories we could go on into in great depth. She is a fascinating story herself and really my BFF for the last 5 years. Maria and Laura are the only two people I've ever personally hired, 3 of course with Ingrid, who's been an incredible addition, and 4 you could say Ivy, although we were very fortunate to add her to the team as well. All of these women work for Maria. She's the boss of Cono. Maria is the director of programming and operations. She's born and raised 5 minutes from here as a native speaker of the language, and neither I nor Ingrid have any say over what the women in the kitchen prepare. We didn't hire these women, we don't train them, we don't supervise them. If something goes wrong, they need to answer to her. The same thing down at the restaurant. Maria is the only indigenous woman in San Marcos with a business license in her name. That's her restaurant from which she earns no revenue. That restaurant exists exclusively to provide funds for these activities.
Receiving a lot of smoke, which you know is not good for their lungs or for their health in general. So this rocket stove is a more efficient one that uses less wood because we cook with wood here, and it doesn't produce so much smoke. So here we cook corn, beans,
Pasta,
lentils,
rice.
They cook a lot of meals here, and they use less wood, and they are not receiving all on the chemicals from the.
I think it's safe to estimate, or it's accurate to estimate that if you're a mom in Guatemala, in this part of the world, then just because you're a mom or a girl and you work on that thing, it's essentially like you smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. You inhale a lot of smoke. You might have your baby on your back while you're inhaling that smoke, and they're exposed to it. But also, if that thing's been on all day, which it is, you can't go near it. It's dangerous. The plancha is really hot. You can burn yourself really badly. So it's unsafe because of smoke, and it's flat out dangerous as a safety hazard, right? This thing's been on all day. It's been on all day. It's not a safety hazard. It's hot.
You can touch it.
Yeah. It's made of all recycled materials, and more importantly, that's vapor. There's no smoke coming out of it. It's such an efficient, it's like somebody's blowing on that fire constantly because of the pull of the air and the design. There's other designs of rocket stoves, but this is the one that works for us. And I want to give you a little bit of context, because not only is the environment important to us, and very important that the women who work with us don't get sick because of their job, also we have to protect our money. Every quetzal that you give us needs to be used best so that all the food, or the best food, can be served to the folks here. We're not serving ramen noodles. We're not serving instant oats. It's a good meal. What you guys had for lunch today is basically from the menu of our nutrition program, right? So I'm worried about our money. I need to get more money, and we need to save money. The average household has about 8 people in it, right? This amount of wood you're looking at here, I think this is probably a tarea, right? So this is about 8 loads of wood, or about 300 or 400 quetzales worth of wood. That's a lot of money if you don't have money to feed your family, right? Why is there an issue of malnutrition here? It's economic. They have to spend so much of their money on wood and corn. There's not enough left over for proteins and animal fats, right? So they're actually spending a lot of their household income on something that is dangerous and unhealthy, but that's besides the point. If there's 8 people in the house, that means mom has to make how many meals a day? If she makes 3 meals a day. Right. How many meals a day? How many meals a week is mom responsible for preparing? 24 times 7, only because I've given this speech before, is 168. So let's say the average household needs to make 200 meals a week, right? That probably requires them to use about a quarter of this wood here. Right, Chente, about 2 tercios de leña para una casa por semana?
Sí.
If there's 8 people, 10 people, 2 tercios, 3 tercios, 1.5. That's a lot, man. That's 150 Q. That's $20 a week. And your household has $2 a day for everything, right? So that gives you a sense of why something like a papaya or a hamburger is a luxury. But, you know, I've come to really appreciate when you open the sink tap, water comes out and you can drink it. That is amazing. When you turn on the stove and fire comes out and you don't have to bring a new gas tank in on your shoulders like we did with those suitcases. That's wonderful. And those are things that we take for granted, and it's not common in this part of the world. So the average household needs to spend between $12 to $20 a week just to cook the corn that they eat and to boil the water that they drink. Or, God forbid, they don't have that much money. They have to spend all that time gathering firewood in the mountainside, which mom does not have a lot of extra time to just go hanging out in the mountain. That's for one family if they're making, let's say, 200 meals a week. We make 60 meals a day, 5 days a week, but our staff eats too. Let's say we make 70 meals a day, 5 times a week. That's 350 meals, and we use 1 and a little bit loads of wood. So we're making probably twice as much food as the average household, and we're using a little bit more than half the fuel. And Ingrid may not know this, but when I started in Konoha, we didn't have this device, and most of the food we cooked was in the gas stove, and we used 1 tank of gas a week. That's 120 quetzales. That's $15 a week. That's all the money you guys just spent on lunch.
How much would it cost to make a rocket?
Great question. Very, very little. This guy right here, I'm probably too close. It's dangerous. The traditional plancha probably costs what? 600, 700, 800 quetzales, Chente? 600, 700, 800?
Sí.
Por ahí. Una plancha, ¿cuánto cuesta?
Un día, un mes.
No, digo, ¿cuánto para la construcción?
Mucho, como 300 a 500.
Ponémosle 400, 500. This cost about 300 quetzales. In fact, the only thing that we... Yeah.
This is
500.
And this is just clay from the mountain, some cinder blocks, And this is a recycled oil drum that I...
Son 900 más mano de obra, se compra todo. Se compra material y mano de obra.
Digamos,
Because this is
1200.
concrete, you see, and that's clay.
So it's-
we take it out of the
ground, and then we used a recycled oil drum. So this costs maybe 1/3, and it's all recycled materials, and it's way more fuel efficient. It's awesome. And some of you guys are going to help us destroy our old one, which worked perfectly for 4 years in a row. And that's pretty much that. I don't know, Ingrid, what is it that is behind me?
Okay, nation, and then we sell them. They produce and we sell them, and they receive the money for their work. That is the solar oven, where we also oven. You say oven cookies. Yeah, we prepare cookies. Those you can see them at the restaurant. Actually, we have choco chips or vegan cookies that they prepare with solar energy. These days we haven't used so much the solar oven because there is not much sun. This is a nice day because we have sun, but the last days we have had rain this time sometimes. So yeah, but when it's the dry season, we use a lot the solar oven and we prepare things there. So we sell these as a solar snacks, and we call the brand Sabor del Sol, which means the taste of the sun, because they are produced with solar energy. So this is another example of how we give the opportunity to the women to work in a small business, but it's their business. I mean, they decide what they want to do. We help them to see what we can sell, what we should produce this season. But they are the ones who decide, okay, then I want to do cookies today, and tomorrow maybe I want to do some courses or some anything they want.
This is part of being a business person, being a businesswoman. First of all, they should be commended because they've learned how to make dehydrated and solar baked snacks. But to sell them, and to sell them profitably, you need to know where to buy them for a good price, and how much each cookie should cost, and how to package it attractively, and the sticker, and how to sell it, and then how to record the inventory. It's a lot. And neither I, nor Ingrid, nor Maria, nor any of us are, I'd say, trained in sales and marketing techniques. So we're all kind of learning. And also, I'm very proud, although it doesn't sell that well, we make beef jerky in this solar dehydrator. So it's just an example of how cool.
We have it at the restaurant.
So we have Mayan women who buy locally sourced beef and prepare it in a solar dehydrator and sell it to feed their families. The dehydrator is really simple. There's no base to the chamber, so the sun hits these pretty clean, transparent slides. Heat gathers underneath. It rises because there's no base. It passes through the box, and you see how that thing in front is open? That lets the heat out, which sucks in more heat and creates something of a convection current, which moves the hot air at about 175 degrees Fahrenheit, so it doesn't cook, it dries. Beef we can do in less than a day if we have really good sun. Tomatoes, 3 days. So right now the sun went away. Let's say there was tomatoes in there. We have to close the machine, kind of put it on pause until the sun comes back tomorrow morning. You don't have to come in, just the ladies show up, wipe the gross stuff off the glass so all the sunlight can get in. It loads from the back, and the sun comes up over Pana, and it goes there. And so right now, that's how I get it to work. Just point it at the sun. It gets to about 250 Fahrenheit, so we're not making pizza or bread, so we need small surface areas, so seeds and cookies and stuff like that. We could talk a lot more, but before you know it, y'all would have to go home, and I want to pay my rent today. Thank you, Ingrid. I don't know if you guys have any questions. We can certainly answer questions as we spend the next hour or so sweating, but that's pretty much it.